Today we got ourselves some British muscle, 2015 Jaguar XFR with the 5-liter supercharged engine. And the reason for making this video is, other than it being a very cool car, I do believe this is the best, this is the best super sedan of the past. By the end, I'm gonna summarize why and how. We're filming and we're in Dubai today, and this is a car of my dear friend. I don't know if you can see it properly in the video. It's not black, it's that cool sinister look gray which looks pretty good on this car. 21st century Peaky Blinders would drive something like it. Let's start with a little bit of history lesson. The first XF that we saw was in 2007, designed by Ian Cullen. He was a Jaguar designer back in the time. He designed some Aston Martins, Jaguar XK, and he has a quite good portfolio. And let's remember the 2000s, what was going on back in the day, what was happening to Jaguar. In early 2000 it was owned by Ford. Starting 2008 it came into ownership with Tata Motor Corporation, and this was, people say that, Jaguar, Tata was the one who designed the, was there responsible for the XF. No, it was Jaguar themselves. I mean, Ford at the time. And at that time, the Jaguar lineup consisted of XK, XKR, XJ, X-Type, which was based on Ford Mondeo, and an S-Type. While its competitors from Germany, Audi A6, BMW E60, and Mercedes W211 were, in my opinion, and I'm sure in everybody's opinion, those are way superior cars than S-Type. So Jaguar needed an answer, and this is when they came up with this XF under the chassis called X250. And it was sort of a new kid from Jaguar for youngsters. Jaguar started to look cool again, and in my opinion it looks way better than all those 5 Series and Mercedes of that age. When they launched it in 2007, it came up with a couple of engines. There was the V6, there was the 4.2 V8, and then there was a 4.2 SV8, a 4.2 supercharged V8 that came from other old Jaguars such as XJR, XKR. They all had the 4.2 supercharged engine. To be honest, it's not a very bad engine. It did have a supercharger, Eaton supercharger. I think the code was M117. Depending on the variation, it did produce something from 430 to 460 horsepower. The SV8 XF had 450 horsepower, and it used to do 0 to 100 in low 5s. But this was the 2000s. In my opinion, this was the greatest era of automotive industry. At that time, the economy was doing very well. We weren't talking about electric cars, we weren't talking about hybrid cars. It was all about working on good big engines. And the super sedan market at that time consisted of four cars. Yeah, we can say 4 cars. So there was the famous, crazy, exotic BMW M5, E60 M5 with the 500 horsepower V10. There was the crazy estate and sedan as well, Audi RS6 with even crazier engine, twin turbocharged V10. And from Mercedes we had 2 variations. We had the E55 and W211 chassis, and you can say even the CLS. So there was 5.5 liter supercharged engine, which produced something like close to 500 horsepower, 450 or 60. And there was later came on the E63, which was a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that produced somewhere around 500 horsepower. And Jaguar needed an answer to that, and they couldn't put an R badge on its they couldn't put an R badge with 4.2 liter V8. They needed a new engine, and they came up with this engine. I'm gonna open the hood and show you the engine. Jaguar in 2009 launched an XFR with this 5 liter supercharged V8 engine, producing 510 horsepower and somewhere around 460 pounds-feet of torque. This is it. Honestly, there's nothing really to see here. Everything is covered under the plastic. We got plastic everywhere. We got 2 air intakes. There's some nice badging on top, Jaguar and supercharger on both sides. Yeah, nothing really to see here. So in 2009 they came up with the first XFR. It had again 5 liter supercharged 510 horsepower, mated to a 6-speed ZF. And this is when Jaguar could, you know, put up a fight with its German and even American rivals, Cadillac CTS-V and Charger SRT8. So while Jaguar was a bit late to the game, because when we look at German rivals, BMW E60 was first launched in 2004 and had its facelift somewhere in 2009, I believe. Similar to Mercedes and Audis. It was 2011 and there was a new E-Class, there was a new 5 Series, and there was a new Audi. So Jaguar needed to do something different. And in 2011, for the XF model, they came up with the facelift. It later came to XFR, it came in 2012. The facelift was from outside and from the inside as well. So it was this bumper, it was the lights, the grille is a bit different. from the back, again, we had a little bit different lights, but that was pretty much it. Most of the stuff was done in the front and at the inside the car. And when we gonna get to the interior, we're gonna go through the changes that were made. And meanwhile, I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna insert a picture of the previous XFR. It's a bit hard to see in sun, but with these LED line and in general these lights, the Jaguar really started to look good. And up until today, I believe this facelift really helped the car to, you know, stay for such a long time and still look sort of new and futuristic. It looks like a regular Jaguar XF. In fact, it just looks like a regular car. And this gray color, I mean, unless you know it's an XFR, you're not gonna know that it has a supercharged V8 under the hood, and that it can go from 0 to 100 in mid 4 seconds. The way you can tell XFR apart from the regular XF is, first of all, we got a more aggressive front end. We got supercharger intakes or breathers. We got the 20-inch wheels that actually say supercharger on it, which is quite interesting. It doesn't say anywhere else on the car except the wheels. It's kind of funny. We got big red calipers. We got a V8 badges on the sides. In Mercedes it would say, you know, V8 compressor or V8 bi-turbo, and Jaguar just says V8 on the side and supercharger on the wheels. It's kind of funny. I am not quite sure, but I do believe the side skirts are a little bit lower than of a regular XF. And from the back we got a ducktail spoiler, which I think even the regular XF V8 has it. And at the bottom we have the diffuser and quad exhausts, and of course we have the R badges all around the car. So let's count the R badges. 1 R badge. From the back we have 2nd R badge. Inside we got R badge on the steering wheel, R badge on the dashboard, R badge on the navigation when you start up the car, and engraved R's on all of the seats, even at the back. But other than that, you cannot really tell it apart from the regular XF. It certainly has a road presence, but it doesn't shout about itself. And it does look a bit aggressive from the front. So Jaguar put so much time and design into designing this beautiful car, and then they mess it up with this stupid fin. This is a radio antenna or GPS, I'm not quite sure, maybe it's both, but it looks very stupid, to be honest. It doesn't even look like a shark fin, it looks like a dolphin fin. So how practical the XFR actually is. Let's check out the trunk. The trunk is quite spacious. You can fit here a couple of children. What else do we have? Of course, we have a Jaguar branded tissues. How alive are you? That's kind of cool. We got some plastic piece, don't know where it came from. We got the triangle, we got the first aid kit, and honestly the coolest thing about this car is that it has a nice spare wheel, considering that you got 20-inch tires all around. There's the battery, fuse boxes over here. Probably might need it after this car becomes 10-15 years old. And I'm not quite sure if you have this in other German cars. I mean, it's in its German rivals, but up there the trunk is not covered by anything. Nevertheless, you know, the cool thing about this Jaguar is that they focus on the things that really matter. There we got a camera, which I'm sure if you're in Europe, somewhere dirty roads, it's gonna get dusty very fast. It's gonna get dirty. Has a soft closing trunk, which is expected on a premium segment of Jaguar. Now let's go to the coolest part about this car, other than its looks and engine, is the interior. Let me just show you the key. The key is quite cool, very simple, has a nice touch to it with soft plastic and metal. Jaguar, metal or plastic, not quite sure. Same key used in Range Rover and other cars, but it fits, it feels nice. I cannot complain. It has some good weight to it. It feels like a high quality item. Now let's get to the interior of the car. As I said, keyless go. You don't even need to press the button on the door handle. Just put your hand here and open the car, and it becomes alive. Here's the car, the interior. So the coolest part about this interior is that they didn't overdo it. They used the right colors, and even the red that they use it very, very smartly, so it doesn't shout about it. It's not right into your eyes. It's very settled, but at the same time, you know you're in something special. So it starts from the door. So they used nice black leather, red stitching, soft, very soft plastic. Then, and this is all around the car. Then we have some carbon fiber. Again, leather with red stitching. We got this sort of square-like honeycomb plastic going all around the dash, and we got some nice chrome pieces all around the car. Meridian sound system sounds amazing in this car. Over there you have a button for your memory seats. And talking about the seats, again, they did it just right. So it's black and red, and you understand, if you make the seat or the whole interior, if you make it red, I don't know, it's just not my style. I think it's just too much into your eyes. But when you use a black color and then add some red inserts to it, I do believe it looks, this is the best color combination out there. So talking about the seats, they are bolstered. You got good supports in your shoulder. You can adjust it. They're ventilated and cooled as well, which is a very good feature in this region. And you got bolsters from down there. The seats are very comfy. You can have long journeys in it, and when you corner at crazy speeds, you do not fall out. But if you have a big butt, I found the seats, these bolsters down there, a bit I found it a bit cramped over here, you know, especially if you drive on longer journeys, you want to move your legs, it's not that comfy. But I'm sure if you're thinner than me, it's totally okay. So let's get inside. It's very hot in here outside. So once you enter into your XF4, you are greeted with the R logo, reminding you that you didn't just buy an XF, you bought an XF4. As well as, I'm not quite sure if you can see it, but the start and stop button is bleeping, and it's pulsating like a heart, which is quite cool. You know, it's asking you like, hey, turn on that 5-liter supercharged V8. How alive are you? Just kind of cool. So let's turn on the engine because it's very, very hot. There you go. In XFR, once you turn on the engine, the gear lever pops out. Another cool thing about XFR, I'm not even quite sure that any other car manufacturer does it, but once you turn on the AC vents open up like that. So again, about the design of this car, you got leather everywhere. Everywhere you can possibly have leather, you got it there, which is quite cool. It has a very big dashboard covered in leather. I really like that, because other car manufacturers would have just used some sort of soft plastic. But there is a drawback to it. I saw in some older XFs, the leather starts having bubbles on its dashboard, which doesn't look really good. I mean, it needs to be restickered, but it's a nice design. I mean, we got also the stitching going all around. Again, I just love the color combination. We got red seats with black leather, red stitching. We got soft black plastic. Then again, we have leather. We have carbon fiber inserts that go all around. It continues. Black leather, red stitching, carbon fiber, and this plastic, soft plastic, which looks quite cool. It continues all around the car. The carbon fiber here looks very, very good. I'm trying to show you here. Metal gear shift. This is from the back. we got Alcantara we got Alcantara ceiling, very soft, very nice. We got some, again, we have this beautiful metal metal like plastic, again very beautiful. You got a shade that goes up and down. Let's keep it up. Parking sensors, speakers, got sunroof. And another cool thing about old Jags is the lights. You do not need to touch them like any other car, you just swipe them. In a very soft way, like petting a cat, which it is. So coming back to the facelift, the biggest change in the interior was this part, especially this center console. I'll insert the images of the pre-facelift model to show you the difference. All the buttons before were silver, now they became just black, which is a good and a bad thing. Now, given this is a Jaguar British car, I do like it, to be honest. The way they laid out everything is quite nice. I like the fact that they focused on performance, comfort, the leather interior, the exterior. I like that. But they did mess up in some cases, and mostly it has to do with the quality of some parts. So we looked at the engine bay. It's all plastic. It doesn't look very good, but again, all modern cars are like it. But I mean, if you're getting an XFR, it should look very good, but it doesn't. The trunk, again, it has some exposed metal parts that do not look, you know, good to the consumer. But the worst thing is all these buttons you see, they get sticky. And this is a 2015 model, and we are in 2018 right now, and imagine just in 3 years or so, even it happened before that, the buttons got sticky. I mean, it's cool to see that in a 20-year-old Ferrari, you know, Italian exotic car, but not in a premium sedan. You know, yes, it's a Jaguar, it's British, but I mean, you can do a better job, right? And they're not even covered by warranty. I think only first 2 years they are covered. These buttons are covered under warranty. After that, you're on your own. And the owner of this car had it detailed, so it looks okay, but still, it's gonna come back. As well as, I don't know if you noticed this, but on these buttons, the paint is missing. It's almost off. And again, seeing that in a 1995 Toyota Corolla is okay, but in a 2015 Jaguar that you paid for when it was new, something around $700 to $900, sorry, $70,000 to $90,000, is not a cool thing. Other things I have beef with is the buttons on the steering wheel. For the volume, for the cruise control, we're gonna get to what they do later, but I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna try to show it to you, but this is rubber. as well as this. You can see it's already worn out. So this is for changing channels, this is for volume. Now the reason why probably the volume button is not as worn out as the changing the channel button is because changing the volume using this knob is way more difficult than just using the regular knob right there. Using the knob on the steering wheel takes a very long time. It's not cool. For the channels it's fine. So that's how it works. It just goes up and down, but they all feel very flimsy. So especially, you know, when I'm driving, I have sweaty hands, I want to change, I want to raise the volume, I try to, you know, put it up or down, and then my finger slips and you hear the sound it makes. It's not really nice. So my finger slips, and then in order to keep it there I need to press on the button itself. And sometimes it happens with your nail, and you end up wearing out these buttons, this rubber, which then becomes sticky, and then you just don't want to use it. And to replace it, I mean, you need to like remove the steering wheel and everything. But anyways, Jaguar they should think about these things next time they're designing a new XF. What else can I tell you? The biggest drawback about this car I find about the interior is the steering wheel. I don't know if you can see it, but it really outdates the car, in my opinion. It doesn't have any form to it. It's big, it's chunky. It has a nice engraved Jaguar logo on it. Looks quite cool, and it has an R badge. But other than that, I'll try to show it to you from this side. I'm not very good at filming, sorry. It just doesn't look very good. It really outdates the interior of the car. Now, so coming back to the facelift, with the new facelift we also got a new navigation. Can I tell you anything about it? Yes, I can tell you that it's touchscreen. You can connect your phone. You can see your average fuel and everything, although the same thing can be seen from here. I do not use navigation systems in my cars because all my cars are very old, and this is just a bit outdated, to be honest. I have used the BMW infotainment system. It was way superior than this one. Now this one isn't that bad. Like if you want to put again, you see, it's just plastic, the paint is worn out. You want to put cooling seats, ventilated, it's okay. It's touchscreen, it works well, but I don't use it. I'm not an expert in it. My phone works very well with it. There you go. I think someone else can give you a better understanding of the screen. And if you close it, it just shows you the clock. Now on to these buttons. So here we have our radio and everything. Now the cool thing about this Jaguar is that, again, why do I think it's a best of the old school? They perfected the old school you know, car design, if you can say so. Is unlike its German rivals, where you can select normal, comfort, economy, it doesn't have any of that. We got a nice metal knob, which again, one thing I don't like about Jaguar, and Range Rover has the same thing, is that this moves, which is okay. You don't use it a lot, but again, whenever I'm shifting gears, I would like it to have more weight, this gear knob, and sort of have a more reassuring feeling. Like this handbrake. This parking brake, they did an amazing job with it. It looks very solid and it feels very solid. Although you don't use it that much, you use the gear knob way often. But again, these are the things that Jaguar can improve on later on. So coming back to the different modes. Now, Jaguar does not have air suspension, but it does have an adaptive suspension. And with these modes, you can control that. So you have different settings. You have the snow, you can press it, and there it says winter mode confirmed, which I don't know who uses it. Traction control. So you press it for a little bit, and it shows track DSC, which is, I believe, it's a traction control system that does allow you to drive the car a bit wilder than the normal mode, but at the same time it's not off. And if you want to turn it off, like in I don't know if you guys remember this from Top Gear, you have to hold the button for 10 seconds, and then when you hold the button for 10 seconds, the DSC is completely off, and you can really do some donuts in this car with it being rear-wheel drive and having 500 horsepower. So yeah, I mean, there's no knob to control the infotainment. It has its own thing. It has it has a touch screen, and the only thing it has is navigation, which nobody uses, connecting your phone, which you only use once. You just connect your phone and that's it. You know, you can use the buttons on the steering wheel, or you can use these buttons, and different AC modes, but again, you do not need to use it. And the worst thing about cars, the way you can, you know, what really ages the car, it's infotainment system. So it's kind of nice that Jaguar maybe thought about it. I don't think they did, but you don't need to use it. You know what I mean. You can just come back to the old buttons, old school buttons. That's what we like. We like buttons. Men like buttons. Yep. And there's no, you do not need to go through the menu to select different driving settings. They're all laid out here. And the main button that you're gonna use is, first of all, shifting the gearbox into S for better gear changes, and this dynamic mode button. You press it, dynamic mode confirmed. This sharpens up the suspension, does so many beautiful things. I cannot even explain it, but one thing I can tell you is that once you press that button, you can really dominate the streets. You can dominate the highways. Trust me on that. I've tried this. So again, we got some cool carbon fiber going on here. Done very, very nicely. We have another carbon fiber line over here. We got that cool little button to open the glove box. Kind of cool. We got enough storage inside. We have power outlet, USB, aux, everything you need. Nothing less, nothing more. And yeah, I do like the interior of this car. For a driver, it has everything that matters. You have your good sound system, you have beautiful materials, they look good. The car is very quiet, even in the dynamic mode. You have very good sound system. Your phone gets connected very well. I didn't have any issues with it. Yes, the steering wheel looks a bit old, but it feels all right in your hands. You have some cool Jaguar emblems on the side vents. You have a beautiful dash. Everything about this car is highly, it's beautiful, to be honest. Everything that matters looks good. It does have some quirks. The buttons get sticky, the buttons color wears out, some parts are not exactly as solid as they should be, and I found this out by mistake, but it kind of really, you know, let me down. It's a beautiful car. Once I was sitting in the back seat and I tried to use this pocket to try to put something inside, and I had to put my hand in it. And I'll try to zoom in. I mean, it's not the end of the world, and this is not the main point of this car, but I found it very, very disappointing to have this in a premier segment. It's just, you understand, there is no attention to details in this car. The stitching and everything is done very beautiful. For example, I love the red leather, and then you have these chrome bits. Again, not too much red. Black is used very, very smartly in this car, as well as the carbon fiber. The R badging is cool. The Alcantara ceiling is very nice. You got an armrest. At the back you just have a simple bench, nothing specific. You got your armrest with a couple of cup holders. I honestly do not imagine anyone sitting in the middle in the back seat, because the transmission tonneau is just very high. You have your power outlet, you have your AC. Everything at the back is cool, because it's not meant for the backseat driver. It's not an XJ. This is an XF, an XFR, which should stand for, I don't know what it can stand for, but it has one main point, which is it dominates. So again, coming back to the main point of this video, why, in my opinion, do I think that this is probably the coolest and the best sedan of the yesterday? It's very simple. It's because of the ingredients that we have in the car. We have a 5-liter supercharged V8. Now nobody makes superchargers except Americans, and we have it where Ford doesn't do it anymore. So we have the Challenger and Charger, and I have the Cadillac CTS-V. The biggest, you know, the closest competitor to this car is the Cadillac CTS-V. It has a supercharged V8 Corvette engine, but none of them look as sleeper as this car. They don't have that cool British look, especially in this gray color. They are not as refined as this car. And they're not British. They're not Jaguar. In my opinion, Jaguar makes very, very good super fast sedans. XJR, XKR is a coupe, but I mean it's a very good Grand Tour car, and it looks very slick. And this XFR, and not only that, this car is very fast, you know, but with the new facelift, you got the 8-speed ZF. And in my opinion, 8-speed ZF is one of the best automatic transmissions on the market ever made. Best automatic transmission ever made. If, you know, let's say you're like, you know what, this, you can say, yeah, this is not the best sedan, super sedan ever made. You can say that BMW M5 is a better sedan. M5 E60. Yes, it is the better sedan. Yes, it sounds better, it's more intoxicating, but it's, first of all, try to find a clean one. We're in 2018. The last time we saw that car came out of the München, or whatever it's made from, was in 2010. The good condition ones or manuals cost somewhere $30,000 to $50,000. SMG ones, you know the SMG story. Yeah, you can argue you can put the new DCT gearbox into it and it's gonna be a very good car. Yes, it might be, and I'm sure it will be, but again, it won't be as reliable as this car. It won't be as modern looking as this car, and God knows how much it's gonna cost you. It's not gonna cost you the same price. You can say that Audi RS6 is the better option, but again, Audi is turbocharged. The new F10 M5 is turbocharged. The new Mercedes is turbocharged as well. And you know, that's sort of the downside of today's super sedans. Yes, we have very, very cool super sedans. We got all these Audis with their 4 liters. We got the Mercedes with also the new 4-liter engine bi-turbo. M5 still has the 4.4. They are, in performance, they're way more superior cars than this one. But supercharger and naturally aspirated engines, they are just better. You can argue with me, you can say that turbo always wins, but you understand, from now on, starting from 2010, all fast cars have turbochargers, and all the modern cars, you know, the hypercars and whatnot, are hybrids or electric. I'm sure the current fastest sedan in 2018 is Tesla, but again, it's electric. Yeah, way faster, maybe more economical, blah 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 blah, but it doesn't have that old school mechanics that made these cars so good. As car enthusiasts, for us, speed is not always everything. it's more about the feel of the car, the sound of the intake, the sound of the exhaust. V8s sound amazing. It's the best sounding motor out there, regardless of its make. Either it's German, British, or American, or even Japanese. V8s just sound better than any other cars. They work very well in sedans. Supercharged V8 is really cool thing to have, and if you're a car enthusiast, you gotta try it one day. And this car is a very good example of it. If you want a supercharged sedan, you can go with another car called Mercedes E55, or you can go with an old XFR. We'll get to that later. Anyways, you can go with many supercharged cars from Germany. You can go from America, the CTSV. You can go with the Jaguar. Let's say, you know, your budget is low and you have, let's say you have $20,000 in your pocket. You can find, and I'm talking about very super clean examples. You can find an old E55 or CLS 55, or you can get old Jaguar XFR. You can get even an old CTSV with that much money. But again, all of those cars, even the XFR, is not gonna have this transmission, the ZF 8-speed. The other cars, yeah, they will be very cheaper. They'll be much cheaper. They might have the same power and performance. Mercedes produces something like 450 horsepower stock, and very easy to tune, and those engines are very reliable. Same thing with the CTSV. You can tune it up until your budget allows you, but the basics is the transmission. You need to swap transmission, or you need to do something with the transmission. With Mercedes, I don't think there's any solution. With the CTSV, yeah, maybe you can put a manual, or maybe you can swap into a faster transmission. I'm not quite sure. And with the old XFR pre-facelift, you have a ZF 6-speed, which is quick, but still it's not this ZF 8-speed. And if you're looking for a fast sedan, or even a fast car, you cannot miss this one. You know, if you want something that's old school but new, this is it. A 2015 or a facelifted XFR. You have 500 horsepower. You got a beautiful transmission, which is very quick. And what else do you want? In terms of speed, this car is, honestly, this car is electric. I'll be frankly honest with you. 0 to 100 on a rear-wheel drive car, the traction control, alright, the tires might help. These are Michelin Super Sports, but 0 to 100 kilometers in less than 5 seconds without wheel spinning. Maybe one small wheel spin, depends on the tires and the surface, but it does it very fast. Anyways, this is not the coolest part about this car. The coolest part is 100 to 200 and above. It gets there very quickly. Superchargers pull up faster than turbos. Maybe not as fast as the modern turbos, but when we're talking about heat, I do believe superchargers are more superior than turbochargers. They sound better. The feeling that you get with the supercharged car is more intoxicating than turbo car, in my opinion. And this, we're talking about stock cars. This is not modified in any way. And again, with that quick transmission, it can dominate. It can dominate the highways. It can dominate normal roads. It can dominate in traffic even. It can tear apart any Mustang, any Camaro, any Corvettes, while looking very sleeper and being very comfortable car to drive. In corners, this is a two-tone vehicle. In corners, it is a bit soft, but again, this is the nature of the fast Jaguars. They're always slow. They're always soft, but they do grip well. And yeah, again, you know, I am an old school guy. I like naturally aspirated engines. I'm not very fond of turbocharged engines. Yes, they are faster, and all the modern cars are, but again, you know, in my life as a young car enthusiast, for me, all the cool cars are in the past now. There is no modern car, you know, a new car in 2018, other maybe than the Dodge Demon, that I would purchase with my own money. No car, trust me on that. And yeah, I mean, again, if you want to go with the fast sedan, but you don't want the turbocharger, you don't want your typical Mercedes sound, you know, with that, or BMW, you know, when that car shifts gears, it's like farts and crackles and whatnot. And all the new cars, you know, that's the problem. All the new cars, they sound the same. They're turbocharged, they have shitty exhaust, they sound like vacuum cleaners, like super fast vacuum cleaners. It's not a good experience. It's not as good as the cars of the past. And again, coming back to this video is, you know, the worst thing that can outdate a car is its technology, you know, lights and everything, and at the same time the transmission. Something that can really outdate the performance is the transmission, even if you have a very fast engine. So there you go. This is probably the only car you can buy that is relatively new. You can still find them under warranty. This is a 2015. This is the last year of XFR. This is probably the last XFR we'll ever see again, especially with this engine and transmission. Modern cars are not going to be supercharged. They are going to be all either hybrid, fully electric, or at least minimum turbocharged. So this is it. This is your only option that you have. And again, it's 2015. It still has warranty. The owner got it around 2 years ago for $50,000. Guys, $50,000 with warranty, 500 horsepower sedan that looks very, very sleek and very, very good. Yes, you can get an old XFR pre-facelift for $20,000, but again, it's not gonna have the ZF. You can get a post-facelift XFR, and with the ZF 8-speed, and this is your sweet spot. This is the car that, you know, gonna make you very happy. I've been having this car for a couple of days, and to be honest, it's stupid fast. It's stupid fast, but again, at the same time, it feels very mechanical, especially when that supercharger kicks in. And I'm not held up by transmission. So yeah, there you go. This is why, in my opinion, Jaguar XFR is the last of the greats from the past.